Well, we're back with another hour of the Day of Joy, Self-Expression, Connection, and Fundraising for Hearts Need Art. Our goal today is to raise $6,000. So please go to givebutter.com/dayofjoy so we can continue on our mission of creating these moments every day in the hospitals in and around San Antonio. In 2023, we had over 9,000 interactions all year long. And in 2024, our goal is to have over 10,000. And we have here Vocab, who in 2023 was responsible for 28 patient interactions, 4 family interactions, and 5 staff member interactions. So hello, Vocab.
Hi, I love those numbers. That makes me feel very special in my heart. So good.
You are special in all of our hearts and everybody. And speaking of being special in people's hearts, this is, as soon as I find it, what some patient had to say about you. I would recommend your program to anyone. I was really surprised by how helpful it was to talk with Andrea about my experiences at the hospital. It was really nice.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Can you talk about your experience at the hospital and what this has been like for you?
Absolutely. So to back up even further, I've talked about this a little bit, when y'all interviewed me when I first onboarded with Hearts Need Art, but I came out of working in juvenile corrections, which, institutionally, it's a different type of institution, but it's still an institution. And a lot of times when people are in hospitals, they feel like they're imprisoned because they can't just of their own volition get up and leave and go home and move around the way they want to. So realizing that I just kind of went from one sphere of isolation and confinement to another was very interesting. But I feel so much more effective, and I feel like I'm using my gifts here working for Hearts Need Art versus when I was working in the prison system, because I was working overnight. The kids were asleep. I wasn't interacting with them. And very rarely could I go in the back and offer them programming of creative writing. I had to do that through working through other companies or private contracting. Anyways, so to come into this space where I'm knocking on doors and people have the ability, the agency to say, yes, I want to spend time with you. No, I don't want to spend time with you. That is a beautiful thing in and of itself, that they have the will and the right to say that they do and don't want that. And I'm glad that they have the power to do so. But when they say yes, and they have experiences that they didn't foresee themselves having, when they open up to me and talk to me about very personal matters. I had a father, I actually had several fathers throughout the year who wanted to write stories to their sons and daughters to tell them things that they wish that their parents had told them, or things that they felt like they never got to say to their kids, facing situations where they felt like it could be possibly life or death. I don't know. There's an undetermined amount of days that I may have left. They were really passionate about wanting to express themselves, and they would be drawing pictures or telling me their stories verbally, and crying and emotional. And I was emotional because I was like, I really want you to be able to talk to your kids and tell them these things that you're telling me right now. And it's so important that you don't get overwhelmed by your emotions, that you never pick up your pen, because a lot of times when people want to tell their stories, they're so frazzled about where to start that they don't start. They never do it. And it's like, don't belabor the moment. Don't overthink it. Just start writing. You can put it in order later, but you need to just start telling the story. And that's my advice to anybody. Please just start saying and speaking your truths. And even if you feel like you don't have the language in written form, dictate it to your cell phone to someone who will listen. Make sure you are getting these stories out to people, because it's your history and it's your truth.
Well, that's our program. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Have a great day. Of course, Vocab has it all within 5 minutes of perfect Perfection. And we're also here with Kim, who is our program coordinator. Kim, how is it going?
It is busy as all get out. Yes, it's going well. Kind of scrambling to be in all locations right now, which should calm down in a week and a half. But it's super fun. It's been fun to get to actually work with some of the other contractors who I hadn't worked with prior, who were under Tamara previously. So it's been really nice. Just it's kind of a different energy because I had my my little team of 4 or 5 people, and now it's 9-10 people. So it's been really rewarding and busy.
Yeah. And you're joining us. I think it's next hour that you're coming back, correct? So
Correct.
We'll talk more about that.
Yes.
If you're new to Hearts Need Art and watching us and you're wondering what are they talking about and what do they do, we put together a little video package to show you kind of what we do here at Hearts Need Art. And then when we come back, Vocab's going to put us to work. Right, Vocab?
Yep.
What if I told you that you weren't going home today? You've been living your life, you crushed your work deadlines this week, you have plans with your friends tomorrow night, and you wouldn't even imagine missing your weekly Sunday family dinner that's been a staple for 8 years. Suddenly, you don't even know if you'll be alive on Sunday. Out of nowhere, your dignity is being stripped just as quickly as the clothes are coming off your back to wear nothing but this ugly gown that you know has been worn by hundreds, if not thousands, of other people. You woke up today, you drank your coffee, you kissed your family or your pets goodbye and told them you'd be back after work, and suddenly you're now in what feels like solitary confinement. You're all but naked in front of what seems like 24 strangers, you don't have a cell phone charger, and you've been fasting since breakfast to make room for that burger you were going to eat before you went home tonight. Not today. You're a prisoner now, doing 24 hours to life, and you haven't done anything wrong. But something is wrong with you, and the only way to fix it is to put you in this cell by yourself, where you can do nothing but sit and think about the rest of your life. If you're lucky, you will be able to shower alone. You're told what and when to eat, and don't even think about sleeping because you must wake up every 2 hours and be poked and prodded by even more strangers. What day is it? How many needles have they plunged into your arm? What's in this IV? Have you pooped yet? That must be monitored, so don't forget to call your nurse when you do. When do you get to go home? Is that even an option? Are you going to die in here? This is how some people are forced to live for the rest of their lives, and this is the environment we put them in to heal. Don't most people go crazy without sleep? Remember being a kid and only wanting your mommy when you were sick? They kick her out at 7 p.m. here because feeling love and connection and security and maybe, just maybe focusing on something else besides whatever brought you here might somehow be harmful. Don't get too comfortable though after Mom leaves because we need to take your vitals. There are over 500 different sounds that can be heard in an average hospital room, and that never stops. Not for lunch, and not at 3 a.m. Don't get too comfortable, but please, get well soon. Every hour there are countless knocks on your door, and you can never say, no thank you. Doctors, nurses, the damn person that takes your blood seemingly 54 times a day, or your daily dose of toast and cold coffee. You're so excited when the person who cleans your bathroom arrives because you know they don't want anything from you. What if every day you knew one of those knocks was from someone who wanted nothing from you, but wanted to provide you with an opportunity to feel more like a human being? Imagine if every day someone was able to interrupt the pattern and, gasp, you actually had something to look forward to. Something that could bring a smile to you, your loved ones, and even your care team that you realize have just been human beings all along too. Would you rather this room you're unable to escape resemble a test lab or a music venue? Maybe it looks like an art gallery full of custom art made just for you. Engaging in the arts can do so many positive things. Some of the long-lasting effects of having access to a creative outlet while in the hospital are seen by fewer call button pushes, less pain and requests for pain medication, improvement in overall attitude, a feeling of connection with healthcare staff, and as we've all heard, laughter is the best medicine. Imagine the hospital experience if you knew all of this joy was waiting for you. All right, we're here today asking for your help to make sure those moments can continue through 2024 and beyond. So if you go to givebutter.com/dayofjoy and donate, we can make sure that those don't have to stop. And I put the link in the comments to make it very easy for you. All right, Vocab, I'm going to leave you to it. You are in charge.
Thank you. So to go into this, first of all, I'm so happy that you had a day at the circus today, Richard.
That's exactly what it feels like.
Well, my little title screen kind of adds to that idea of circus and festivities. So let's go into it. When I teach classes, you can skip this slide. I genuinely like to start with a couple of things to get people's minds and hearts into a creative space, because that's what we're going to do. Just we're here to pretend we're not in a hospital. We're not in our, isolated spaces. We are in a creative space together. So we start with the pledge of respect, which starts with a self-body hug, and you repeat after me. I respect my body.
I respect my body.
And the bodies of others.
And the bodies of others.
I respect my thoughts.
I respect my thoughts.
And the thoughts of others.
And the thoughts of others.
I respect my art.
I respect my art.
And the art of others.
And the art of others.
And one more, I give myself permission.
I give myself permission.
To be creative.
To be creative.
Yes, now we're going to, in a creative space, we're all immersed. We're going in.
Next, feeling good.
Thank you so much, Kim, for repeating that with me, so I wouldn't be able to see space. You can go to the next slide, Richard. So we'll keep on going. That's just who I am. There's a poem here called Rosary Beads. It's about San Antonio. We can skip lots of slides. If there's time later, I'll read you some of this poem. But it's a poem that I wrote about the city of San Antonio. It's a good poem. Keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. But I mean, it's cute to see all these little wonderful slides that were made. And look at Ron. All right. More things to skip past. I am going to stop you right there. Go back one. So what I would love to tell people is, if you are a writer and you've always dreamed of being published, and I don't care if you write for leisure or you write because you're really serious about it, everyone should want to be published, because there's nothing more powerful than seeing your own work in print or see it in digital form. And it's not something you typed it yourself, it was printed by someone else. So I want to tell everybody about a website called submittable.com. If you don't know how to spell submittable, it is on the screen in green. That is a hyperlink, but in your free time, please go to submittable.com and make yourself a profile. It is free to make a profile. And there is a tutorial video that'll walk you through the steps. And what you use this tool for is just about anybody who does an open call for submissions for poetry, for novels, for nonfiction, for creative nonfiction. I don't care what it is, any writing thing. They're streamlining their submission process through submittable.com. And all of you should have a submittable page if you are interested in publishing. And some of the things we do is so niche. Some of us write about horror. Some of us write about fantasy. Some of us are, shopping our first manuscript of a collection of poetry. No matter what it is, you can create. And I just want you to know, although I am a published poet, although I'm a poet laureate emeritus, I have plenty of rejections. If you go into my submittable, it's a lot of rejections, very few accepted. And it's okay to be rejected. So many great people in life, so many famous people have been told no. And it's okay to be told no. That just means somebody else is going to tell you yes. So start submitting. Thanks. Next slide. You can keep going. 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 All right, let's stop at the personification or literary devices. Any of these is fine. So I want to just review some literary devices with you all because you maybe it's been a while since you were in high school and college. You might have forgotten some of these terms, but they are really important. And the reason why we're going over this is because we're gonna write in a few minutes, and writing is fun. Writing is a challenge, but writing is also beautiful. And I want all of you to feel empowered to write by being refreshed on literary tools. So, first one up is alliteration. That is similar sounding consonants or similar sounding vowels in words in a succession. So are tongue twisters. Sally sells seashells by the seashore. That is alliteration. 11 Vanellophant elephants. That is also rhyming and alliteration. Um, but it is grouping words together that have a similar sound in them. And it sounds really cool when you hear it out loud. It's a great sparkly device that I like to use a lot. Allegory, a story or poem that has a hidden meaning or a moral meaning or a political meaning. Allegories can be parables, they can be symbology, they can be paradoxes told through our work. Um, Most of the nursery rhymes that you read growing up, that's all allegory. Also, you know, Hansel and Gretel, not the Big Bad Wolf, and Little Red Riding. That's what her name is, Little Red Riding. The moral of that story was not trusting strangers. But some strangers are okay to trust, but just trust your gut. Be careful. Is what I'm saying. All right, contrast. This is putting two things side by side that are extremely different. When you juxtapose things that are different, it creates drama in your work. It's striking and it's impactful and intense, and it's always a great idea. So in one sentence, my favorite example of contrast is the movie Benjamin Button. We had an old
It's so sweet.
who aged in reverse. It's such an ironic, interesting story that was told, and the contrast of him being a baby, but him being old and dying, looking youthful, is such a powerful tool. Um, and the Sixth Sense, which I might bring up again a little later on, when you get to the end of the movie and you realize that the person that you thought was alive is actually not alive, and how it changes the whole way you perceive the story. And that's such a dramatic contrast. Using contrast in your work is so powerful. All right, imagery. And I'll group this with sensory details because they go hand in hand a lot of times. You can use descriptive language that's using your adjectives to describe things and incorporating the senses even more so. If you said the little boy was carrying a balloon, we would all might get a different color in our head. But if you said the little boy was carrying a crimson balloon, then all of a sudden the story becomes very scary, perhaps. And you start thinking of Georgie and it, right? But putting color into something, naming a person, giving details about their skin. Maybe it's a kid with freckles. Maybe it's someone who has curly hair or stringy hair. Or maybe it's someone who has a beard or someone with a brooding voice. Like putting those types of details in, saying something is rough in texture or smooth or fuzzy. Using these words can evoke feelings in us. If I said I walked to the house and it smelled like fresh baked cookies, now all of a sudden you're smelling cookies and you want cookies, right? Because I said it. If you have a connection to the detail that is mentioned in a story, then all of a sudden it's evocative and a person feels connected to it. Voice. It's very important to keep voice consistent. And if you're changing voice in your writing, it's for a specific reason to bring out an intense moment. So if I start a story in the first person, then I need to continue it all the way through in the first person. If I start a story in the third person, to keep it all the way consistent. If I'm second person, I'm kind of in the story, but I'm slightly removed and I can see everything, Keep your voice consistent when you're narrating a story, and which kind of goes into tone and the idea of what's the emotion behind the piece. So if you're writing something that's angry, let the language reinforce the fact that you're angry. If you're in a happy place or a gentle place or a magical place, let the language you use evoke that emotion or carry that or back it up. Like the language you use enforces the tone of the piece, and the voice you use it enforces the tone of the piece as well. All right, let's keep moving. We are learning, are we not? Yeah, it's
We
fun.
are.
So we're going to go past this writing prompt. We may go back to it, but I want to give you a writing prompt that you can do with me if you feel like I'm not a writer, vocab. I don't write. That's not what I do. Cool. Well, we've all done Mad Libs as children, and this is going to be similar to a Mad Lib. I'm going to read you this prompt brainstorm, and then we're going to keep on moving through the piece. So this piece is entitled, or the theme of this piece is, If My Skin Could Speak. Use If My Skin Could Speak as a sentence starter or theme for your piece. Write at least 7 sentences. How many sentences, Kim?
7.
Yes, I want y'all all to write at least 7 sentences. Cool. So here's the brainstorm. If your skin could tell a story about your identity, what would it say? This is personification. Although our skin is a part of us, our skin is not us. It's just part of our identity. So we're going to personify our skin and act as if our skin itself had a voice. Anyways, keeping moving. Include places. No. I'm sorry. Not you. Include places, colors, sights, sounds, smells, sensations that you experience in your skin. What would your skin say about your family or your friends? What kind of scars does your skin have? What kind of pain has your skin experienced? How would it describe itself? So now let's move on to the next one. So here's the format. The stuff that is in yellow, if you interpret that as yellow, it almost looks kind of chartreuse, but anyways, that's not the point. The stuff that's in yellow is the stuff that you're going to write on the page. Those are the words that I'm giving you. The stuff in parentheses suggests what needs to fill in the empty space after the ellipses. So, if my skin could speak, it would say, and in where's that? Oh my God, I'm having issues. Give us a quote and why these words are important.
Parentheses?
Parentheses, yes. Yeah. I'm like, I think, but
the writer ran out of words. The writer ran out of words.
Yes, parentheses. So in the stuff in the parentheses, give us a quote of some words and why you chose them. So if my skin could speak, it would say, make a sound, and then because blah 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 blah. So maybe if my skin could speak, it would say, ouch, because I got vaccinated on Tuesday. And this actually happened. I got double vaxxed in this month, and I was super sore. I got COVID and flu vax. So my whole poem was probably going to be about my vaccination. Anyways, next sentence that you're going to write, my skin feels, in parentheses, give us an emotion, a temperature, a texture, a feeling that your skin could experience. Next sentence. Don't do it right now. I'm just kind of walking you through them real quick. My skin is the color of, or colors of. Now give us some colors. Maybe and go specific. Just don't be like, my skin's white. No. Maybe it's ivory. Maybe it's peach. Maybe it's coral. I don't know. Maybe your skin's olive. Come up with a color. Go for it. All right. It has traveled to. Name places that you've experienced and places that your skin has gone to. My skin has. Name something your skin owns, like a birthmark or a freckle or moles. Maybe it has a scar. I don't know, something your skin owns. My skin is a. Compare your skin to an element of nature, rock, a tornado, something, whatever you want. And my skin is. So the first one is my skin is a. Call it something very specific. So it's not a metaphor here. My skin is a tornado. My skin is a rock. My skin is a mountain, whatever you want to be. And then the last one is my skin is, give us an adjective. All right. Let's go. I'm going to read you my example. Then we're going to come back to this page so y'all can do your writing. Next. Here's my example poem where I followed my own prompt. If my skin could speak, it would say splash, because I am a mermaid. My skin feels slick and salted with the rolling water. I am just a fish out of water flopping and flailing on land. My skin is iridescent and shimmering when the light hits my pigment, but you perceive me as brown. My skin has traveled to so many different oceans, islands, and landlocked dirt. It has gone from the scorching sands of Dubai to the volcanic black debris of Maui. My skin is a rushing waterfall heavily flooding down. My skin is scaled, smooth, and darker than the bottom of a lagoon. That's my poem.
That's beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's all true except for I'm not an actual mermaid.
Shucks.
Darn. Okay, now
I just wrote a story earlier today about mermaids. So
very cool.
Theme of the day, maybe?
mhm.
Yes. Okay, now let's go back and give people time to write. Yay. All right. So I don't know how long you want to stay on this, Richard, but we'll give it a couple minutes.
All right. I'll play some music.
Sounds good. Magic.
Kim, are you still writing?
I'm just stuck on one.
Yeah, no,
Or-
you're good.
So yes.
Are we ready now?
I'm good. Yes.
Okay. We're ready for you, vocab.
Well, thank you all for participating. If you participated, if you want to share your poetry with us, if there's a way to send it in, maybe Richard will inform you on how to do that. And if the two of you want to share at least a line or two from your writing or the whole thing, I would love to hear it. You've already heard my poem.
Richard, do you want to go? Do you want me to
Sure, it doesn't matter. You can go first.
go? Okay.
Or I can.
I didn't write mine in order, so it says, if my skin could speak, it would say burr because I am cold. My skin feels soft but a little bumpy with goosebumps currently. It has traveled from the far east coast of the U.S. all the way to Hawaii with a few stops in between. My skin has a handful of tattoos and a small scar on my left palm. My skin is a mod podge of memories, each tattoo, scar, or blemish holding its own story. My skin is beautiful.
It is.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful. All right. If my skin could speak, it would say, ah, as I wipe it with lotion. My skin feels soft and dry and makes me pick it when I'm anxious. My skin is the color of a ripe tomato when I laugh too hard. It has traveled to hell and back, to paradise and beyond. My skin has scars to never let me forget how powerful I am. My skin is a shield. My skin is finally feeling comfortable.
That was awesome.
Come on, contrast. You see how he with the hell and back, then paradise and beyond. I see you, Rich. I see you.
I took notes as you were talking.
And see how striking that line is? It sticks with you. It stays with you. The drama of it. It's such a cool.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Thanks, Bob.
That was awesome. That was I like that prompt. It's it makes you think. Like you have to actually
Yeah, it makes you appreciate your journey and your story.
Agreed.
Because all of us are equipped with a form of endurance that we don't give ourselves credit for, where we have the ability to really sustain ourselves in certain moments or times and periods of our life where things might have gotten rough or hard or scary, but we made it through. And I feel like this piece is kind of a way to celebrate that. So, yeah.
Thanks for walking us through it.
Absolutely. And this is what I love to do. I really love helping people write their stories and their narratives because it really empowers you as a person when you're able to articulate what you've been through and who you are and your identity. So, yeah, if you are ever interested, people are interested in going to writing workshops, y'all should really check some out, try it. I know it's new shoes sometimes. I know it's scary, to, open up and tell your stories, especially if you have to say stuff out loud. A lot of workshops you may not have to share out loud, but in my workshops, I try to get people to say stuff out loud because it really does give a new breath of life to the things that they've written when they speak.
Yeah, it's one thing to write it down, which is also super powerful, but then when you speak it, whole different level.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you, Vocab. You're the best. Looking forward to more memories in 2024 with you.
Yeah, how was your trip home? This is not home to you, but how was your trip when you came back to San Antonio?
Quick.
Oh.
Very quick. But it was fun. We hung out at the hospital. So I got to see some people at Hearts Need Art that we hired and I never met in person, which was fun. Virtual living these days. So yeah, it was nice and it was warm. It hasn't been warm here, so.
Yeah, we're having one of the hottest days we've had in a long time. It's up in the 80s and it's kind of crispy.
It is, yeah. It's a little too warm for February. So
I stepped off that plane and I was like, oh, humidity. Like I forgot already. And I was like, I missed that. Miss it.
Well, we got plenty of it, so.
We'll come back.
You're here, take it.
I'm like, exactly. I'm like, we don't want it.
I'll take some of it. It's cold.
Because she's cold right now and she has goosebumps.
That's true. I'll take it. And I'm always sweating. We've got a lot coming up today in the next few hours. And so here's what's more to come. Vocab, thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you in a little bit.
Bye.
My very first day was electric. It was wonderful. It is changing their lives for the better, and they remember these experiences and they hold on to them. And not only do they, but the artists like myself, we hold on to the experiences.
I see at ground level what it's actually doing for people. Not just hearing stories about it. I see it with my eyes. I hear it from their voices.
It definitely makes a significant difference for patients and healthcare workers. More than once, more than almost a dozen times now, I've heard people say that they are so shocked that it's available and so happy to see it continue and hope that it continues for more people in more hospitals soon.
I can't tell you enough how beautiful it is to be a part of this and to see the effect we're having, the positive effect we're having in the hospitals.
Their staff is super appreciative, so they're always super excited to see us, and that translates to their patients because they let them know that we're there as well. And it's been an amazing opportunity.
I see it. I see the enthusiasm. I'm grateful for the people that fund this organization. Amazing.
It's touching lives every single day. It's both fulfilling, not just for patients and hospital staff, but the people that work in Hearts Need Art are giving back and also receiving at the same token.
Thank you so much for being a part of this organization and being a part of what we do. I'm very grateful of that support, and I hope to continue to see that and continue to work not just with the hospital, with the staff, with the rest of the members in the organization, but most importantly with the patient. I think that they're the reason why we exist.